please welcome to the stage, from Nubank Product Director and General Manager César Wedemann and Design Director Ellen Kiss.
Good morning, everyone. What a pleasure to be here with you all at Georgia UX Conference. My name is César Wedemann. I'm a Senior Product Director and General Manager at Nubank.
Good morning, and I'm Ellen Kiss, Design Director. Have to say that I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for the invitation, and it's amazing to be here among the best players in finance globally. Certainly, we have something to share, but we will learn a lot from all of you. The idea today, since it's the first time that we're speaking in this conference, is to first share who we are, right? And how we are reshaping the finance industry in Latin America by design and product innovation. So let's deep dive. So we're going to talk about some of our market challenges. César will share some of the key learnings in some of our products, and I will speak about some of the initiatives that we are doing to evolve our product and innovation practice. So let's jump in. To understand the story and the journey of Nubank, is important for us to understand the context of Latin America by 10 years ago when Nubank was launched. So the market was pretty much dominated by large, few, powerful, and traditional banks. An example in Brazil, 85% actually of the people who had a bank account rely on the services of 5 banks. Kind of the same for other countries, which end up having higher fees, limited access to credit, and a very complex experience in digital and also in the physical environment. Beside that, we had a very large potential, so more than 200 million possible clients, considering that 40% of that was totally unbanked, so underserved market. And also, we had a very large adoption of mobile phones, Brazil being the 5th largest community in numbers of smartphones. So all those scenarios set at the stage for having a challenger of the traditional banking system. And Nubank was launched in 2013 exactly with this mission, to fight complexity by empowering people. Since when we started, the idea was to have a very seamless experience, a very user-centric approach, integrating data, technology, and design, to provide people a different way to relate with their financial industry. So since the beginning, our founders identified this massive opportunity and create Nubank. Well, it proved well succeed. Since 10 years later, we are proud serving more than 100 million clients in the 3 markets that we operate. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of people with totally different user needs that we have to manage to offer or to solution. So we embody a very user-centric experience in everything that we do. We want to solve real problems. We want to uncover unmet needs. And how do we do that? So designing for transparency, for simplicity, and in accessibility especially. So we started, our first product was called the Roxinho, because of the color of our credit card. Was launched in 2014. So remember, the market was pretty much complex with high rates, and we launched a credit card with no fees, instant transactions, savings, payment scheduling, and everything without requiring any banking or any visit to the branches. We then launched the new Conta, which is the bank account. Again, very simple, fully digital, zero fees, instant transfers, savings, payment scheduling, everything that the client needed without a branch. And the third initiative, the third product that we launched was the new Invest, talking about investments. The idea was to empower people with a very simple experience for even people who are not aware or not familiar with the world of investment. They could do it without feeling overwhelmed, right? Very simple interaction and less intimidated. So, and since then, so last 10 years, we have been evolving our ecosystem of products based in all the financial seasons that the client need. Either it's lending or investment or even lifestyle with the marketplace and the travels that we are offering with partnership. We are evolving in a higher number of products. But everything with this concept of this positive infinite loop, right? We truly believe that when the clients, they have options, they will choose the companies who treat them better. So this is the core of our essence, to really create an amazing product experiences, because we believe that by doing that, we're gonna attract more customers and then amplify the engagement, which will give us more data, allow us to give a better offer to the clients, lower our cost of serve, and translate that and transfer that to our clients to less fees and better offers, which will lead again to the better product experience. So it is the core of everything we do. We believe that this infinite cycle, it is positive to the client and also to the business. So it's the essence for sustainable growth and high performance. And this is how we have this curve of in 10 years, starting from 0 to 105 million clients. But how do we do that, right? So César will share some of the examples and the lessons learned that we have in some of our products.
Thank you very much, Ellen. So yeah, developing all of this requires a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of intentionality. And as you can imagine, that's a result of over 8,000 Nubankers working not only in one single country, but actually spread across the globe. We have people working from different countries and different geographies, different continents, right? And we have to bring all of them together. We have somehow to connect those thousands of people from different backgrounds into one single direction to ensure that we are building products that are really transforming people's life. And how do we do that? I think like the ground of that is our values. We have very clear, well-defined, non-negotiable values that help us to connect different people, different Nubankers across the world towards the products that we are building. And let me walk you through very quickly about the 5 main values that we have at Nubank. The first one, which by the way is my favorite one, is we want our customers to love us fanatically. I think this is somehow counterintuitive because it's very hard to see people loving a bank fanatically, right? But we really want to transform the relationship people have with money, with the bank. And here lies the secret sauce of Nubank, which is, hey, treat the customers the same way that you want to be treated, right? Nobody likes to pay high fees, to be waiting hours on the phone to get a very simple information, right? So why not incorporate this into the design, into the product that we are shipping to the customer? So this is our very first value. The second one is that we are hungry and challenge the status quo. So there is no such thing as impossible at Nubank. We are always trying to see from a different angle, try to think out of the box of how we can solve a problem that has been there for a while and that we can maybe offer a different perspective. The third one is that we act like owners, not renters. So we are not 8,000 Nubankers. We are 8,000 owners, 8,000 partners that really own each part of the product, each part of the flow, so we can really think differently about how to offer a different experience. The fourth value is that we build strong and diverse teams. So diversity is at the core of Nubank. We have people from all over the world, from different backgrounds, different perspectives, and this helps us to build products that are going to be used by different people around the globe. And the last value is that we pursue smart efficiency, right? And the main reason for that is because we want to share this efficiency with customers. By having a lower cost structure, we can be more efficient and therefore charge less from our customers. And at the end of the day, as Mauri was speaking in the beginning, we are doing this because we don't want to offer just another just another plain account, plain vanilla bank account, or a plain vanilla credit card, but we want to deliver fundamentally different products, experiences, and business for our customers, right? So those are the dimensions that we work on, how we can offer different experience, different business, and different products for our customers. And now I'm going to share a few examples with you of how we did this into practice in our products. The first one, I really like this example, is that we started realizing that customers were calling us to ask for a second credit card. Why? Because their dogs chew their cards, right? What can I do? People have dogs, people have cards, somehow they meet, right? But what if we use this very bad experience to transform the experience of customers and to really provide a wow moment for them, right? So we thought about making this, transforming this problem at an opportunity. And then we launched Nudog, which is basically a plastic credit card, a toy for the dogs. And then suddenly, a bad experience that, like customers were pissed about, hey, my dog just chewed my card, what should I do? Then I have to wait for another card. Then we transformed this into another touch point, into another great experience for customers. So this was one of the ways that we use to kind of like connect more and ultimately make customers to love us fanatically. The second example that I would like to share is how we innovated on the business, right? So until we launched the bank account in Brazil a few years ago, there were two very different concepts. The one was the checking account, where people put money there, plain vanilla account, money was yielding zero, and that's it. And then the savings account, where the money was somehow growing, right? But what if we could combine both of them and making your checking account become a savings account, right? And that's what we did. And then it became a very successful product that started in Brazil, and then we expanded to Mexico and to Colombia, right? And of course, it has challenges associated to that. Let me mention just two of them. The first one is the cost structure. You do have some inefficiencies, some tax inefficiencies here, so you have to be very aware about how to do this product in a way that's positive both for the company and for customers. And the second one, how can you explain this for customers in a way that's very clear, very concise, but also you provide all the transparency needed, right? So again, this is not obvious. This is not like a very easy solution, but by doing so, we transform the relationship and the product that customers were once used to have. A third example that I would like to share with you is an innovation that we did with product and business, which was connecting real-time payments with microlending. So in Brazil, we have this solution called Pix, which is one of the most successful real-time payment solutions that we have across the world, right? And guess what? This is so good that a lot of merchants are also using Pix to receive, to sell their stuff. And they are also sharing this efficiency with their customers, right? So it's very common to say, hey, if you pay me on Pix, I can give you 5% discount, 10% discount, which is a lot. So people want to get this discount, but sometimes people don't have this money available, and they want to use their credit, but the credit's available just on credit card. So how can you solve this equation? So we connect the credit product with the Pix, the real-time solution, and we started offering the Pix financing, so a solution for you as a customer to finance your purchase on Pix. So you can use your credit limit instead of your balance to do some purchase through Pix. And this was a very good innovation that helped people to be able to access some of those benefits. But again, it comes with challenge, right? Because this needs to be regulated. And then we are working very closely with regulator so we can help them to regulate, to understand what is this new way of buying that is introduced in the market. The fourth example that I would like to share is the street mode, the modo rua. So the bank apps, they put a bank branch within the pocket of everyone, which is great, but also brings some challenge, right? Because if you have a bank branch in your pocket and you lose your phone, then you lost your bank branch, right? If you got stolen, then it's also a problem. So how can we increase safety here for customers? And then the street mode is basically a solution that recognizes where you are. If you are on a trusted location, you have full access to the app. But if you are out of a trusted location, then we put some locks. For instance, we don't show your full balance on your investments, or for some transactions, we add extra friction and so on. which is very good for safety purpose, but if you are on the go and really trying to make a transaction, this adds a lot of friction and becomes hard for you to overcome, to do like facial recognition and so on, right? So again, we invest a lot of time, a lot of effort to really think about how can we offer the best experience so we are protecting customers when they need to be protected, but also we are removing friction when they really want to make this transaction. And the last example that I have prepared for today is one interaction that we did to help customers to not worry about their finances, right? So a few years ago, we started thinking about our product, our personal finance management solution, focusing on helping customers to manage how they spend money, right? To categorize, to identify how much money they're spending in each category, and so on and so forth. But after a lot of research, a lot of tests, a lot of interactions, we learned that actually the best angle to help customers was not through spending, but actually to help customers to better manage how they save money, right? And so creating the habit of saving and helping customers to break this idea of you have to be a millionaire to invest and you can start with very little amounts was very important. And then the main change that we made was, hey, let's forget about investing in assets, right? Oh, if you're buying a public bond or some kind of ETF or stock, and let's switch the context to goal-based investing. And so we created the Caixinhas, the money boxes, where customers can set a goal, for instance, hey, I'm going to save for my next vacation, or I'm going to save because I want to retire, or because I want to buy an apartment, and help customers not to save, not to, really be concerned about the investment, but actually to achieve their goals, right? And then we not only help the customers, a lot of customers, to take the very first step into savings and investing, but also we started helping them to achieve their goals and learn what they want to achieve. So this is a cloud word of some of the caixinhas, some of the money boxes that customers created with us, and some of the goals that we are helping them to achieve through this goal-based solution. Okay, this is great, but it's really hard to do, really hard to replicate, really hard to have over 8,000 people working towards this, right? So how do we do that in practice? We have very clear, very well-defined product and design principles that really help us to do this on a scale, on a very structured way that we can replicate and do this over and over again. So now I'd like to invite Ellen back to share more about what are those principles that we use on our everyday life.
Thank you. Yes, as César mentioned, the principles is one of the initiatives that we use to guarantee alignment among the design and the product team. So first about design, about the product principles. So those are our 5 principles. We talked a lot about customer so customer centricity is our first, the fundamental one. We really want to have the customer needs in everything that we do. But I'd like to mention two other ones. So first is the know your product life stage. So we avoid to scale the product before finding the right product market fit. So we iterate, we explore a lot before scale in order to guarantee success and minimize resources allocation. So this is one of the things. And the other one is be hypothesis driven. So we test a lot, we have a lot of hypotheses in every stage of the process. We have an experimentation platform where the product team can experiment a lot with the clients, real clients, and knowing what they are really doing it and not only what they say that they will do, right? And along with the product principles, we have very strong design principles. So we revamped them recently, and we have also 5 principles here. And the one that I think is most important, especially considering the legacy of the relationship of people in banking in Brazil, is the trustworthy. So we really want to build trust, to design for trust, which means not overwhelming the client with a lot of information and having the communication the right time with the right amount. And also craft and simplicity, anyway, a lot of other initiatives. But only having the principles itself is not enough. We need to provide the teams tools to apply that in practice. So we develop the score, so we can have a way of measure every single flow of our 3,000 screens that we have in our apps, and evolve the quality. And recently, we start to explore how to do that with AI. So we have an internal platform, call it Ask Nu, and now we are refining the prompt in order to have the AI evaluating and assess all the screens that we have, so with the right input of our design principles and the design system. Very cool, especially because it's embedded in the Slack, so it's much easier to use. And apart from that, we also created our own way of product development that we call Nu 3D. So of course, it's based on the literature that we all know, but there are a lot of components that specifically works for us. And by doing that, we could align with the whole team the responsibility, the process, and all the rituals that we needed with the specific artifacts for the decision-making of the whole leadership team. And finally, everything is possible or is needed because of our numbers. So we have more than 700 people working in the product. So we're talking here in design mechanisms to scale. And why we do that? Because every single business unit, it has already their own resources. So we have, for every product, researchers, CI, product designers, content designers, PMs, and POPs working embedded in the business. So we're not saying that one, it depends of the other. No, they are all working together to really uncover what the client needs and bringing to the table and taking the decision together. So, and it's amazing team, so we're here representing them, but we use the numbers because each of them are really important to us. So to end up, we really are driven by impact. What we want is to reshape the industry and providing a better relationship with money. We believe that by doing that, we can allow people to save more time, save the energy to their families, to their health, to their education, and by doing that, having a huge impact in Latin America. So to wrap up, just like the main learnings, from our practice. So we keep evolving and innovating by solving real problems. This is the best way to innovate. And for that, designers are fundamental to uncover what is going on people's life. We want to create fundamentally different products. It's not only a digital copy on what we already have. So we are challenge ourselves all the time to really go and change the status quo. And finally, deliver delightful experiences, which it's easy to say, more difficult to apply, but we also challenge ourselves to do it, and I imagine we all are. And although we increase the numbers and the success, we have the same internally that is still day one. There are a lot to be done in finance in Latin America and globally, and there are a lot of opportunities to all of us. So if you want to know more, we have a very nice website called Building Nubank. Here's the QR code with a lot of nice material content and about our practice and everything that we are doing. So thank you so much for having us.
So let's go super quickly with Q&A. So I'm checking the remote questions, but I would also like to know if there are any questions here on site. If so, please raise your hand if you have any question for Ellen and Cesar. In the meantime, I'm going to read one from our remote attendees. One person is asking, what are some surprising insights you've gained from researching your user base? Was there any surprise, aha moment from different markets? This is a question for you.
Okay, so there are several different insights that we get every time that we sit down together with customers and try to learn from them. It's always, very insightful for us. And I think one interesting insight is to realize how different, but how similar different markets and different customers are, right? So in one hand, you have different systems working in different countries in how you pay bills, how we make purchase, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, like the nature of the transaction is very much similar, right? One has a balance or a credit, and one should trade for a product or a good or service, and then they want to switch, right? So I think understanding those nuances among different countries in Brazil, in Mexico, and in Colombia, and seeing how people used to solve it, it's very insightful, and sometimes you can apply it for different markets. So one very specific example, we learned in Colombia that the flow to make a payment was very lengthy, right? It requires a lot of information, a lot of touch points, and so on and so forth. But based on customer research that we did in Brazil, we learned that actually the real value was not in inputting all the info, but actually in getting the job done very quickly. So we brought this into the Colombia product, and that became the shortest product that we have in the market, right? So this was one insight that not only we got from customers, but also leveraging one country to the other, and therefore simplifying the overall experience in a market that we operate.
Can I share one more? I've said that before, but this is the most curious insight that I got from client. The challenge of not spending by impulse, right? So one of the clients that I investigated like years ago, they were freezing their cart, like literally put on the fridge, because by the time that it needs to be melt, the impulse was already gone. So it's like, it was not only one, so I got that like at least 2 or 3 times. So it seems that it's a lack of us like providing like the right tools, right? So they create these hacks to better management. So it's kind of funny.
Wow. Crazy.
It's true.
We have one question here. Can we get a microphone here, please? Thank you.
Hi, just a quick question. How do you prioritize the problems that you will try to solve, and also how do you prioritize the roadmap, to solve that problem?
It's a very good question. Well, there is no one way only to do it, but every BU, they have their own autonomy to decide. Sometimes we decide to do it something that is more relevant to the client, and sometimes is the business. So, yeah, I don't have like a proper answer to you, but it's a challenge to every BU. César, not sure if you want to talk about your BU.
Yeah, if I can add super quickly, I think the main challenge is not saying yes, it's saying no, right? And the way we do that is having very clear main objectives that we have for like the company as a whole, and like what are the main bets or what's the main objective that we have to help customers in a given time frame, a quarter, a semester, a year, and so on and so forth. And we try to use that to sanity check what are the initiatives that we are doing, right? So, hey, is this connected, like the broader objective, and is this connected to the broader company? Because a lot of things that we do, they are interconnected, right? As I just mentioned, we are doing a transfer product that touches credit, that touches fraud, and so on and so forth. So we have to be very cohesive across different business units. So I think it's a matter of understanding the overall strategy, being sure that we are going everyone into the same direction, and being flexible enough to challenge the status quo, so everyone has the ability to raise the hand and say, hey, maybe we're doing the wrong call here, but also having the ability of, hey, but let's go this direction. So there is no one silver bullet here for us to solve this, but we use very clear principles to help us prioritize and treat exceptions as exceptions and not the rule.
Just another thing to add, we work in an OKR method. So we have the company's OKR, we have the BU's OKR, and the PACs. So, and they are all connected. So it's a one way to help us to prioritize and say no to some of the things that César mentioned.
All right, so we were gonna go for the last question. We have it here at the front. And after that, we're gonna go for a short break.
Awesome. Thank you very much for the presentation. Super interesting. I'm curious more about the Ask New feature that you have. So it's for internal employees, it seems. So I'm curious, what are the biggest use cases, and where did you see the most impact? And do you have a version of that for customer-facing AI-driven conversational service as well?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So we're still exploring. So we created Ask New at first to identify possible solutions, and we see that teams are using it large ways. So we have the customer experience people who are answering the phones properly of the clients and then using AskNu to help them to find a better solution to that. We have the researchers, which are also trying to create a repository and having AskNu to support them in finding a better data. And this one, which we're using for access the screens. And I see a lot of potential on that, and I think we're still in the early stages. But it certainly is only for the internal users, and yeah, maybe in the future, we don't know, but it's still internally.
Perfect. So thank you so much. Thank you, Nubank.
Thank you.
Thank you.